YouTube's doing this thing right now, Facebook, you know what I mean? All right, so we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So basically, with today's topic, and this is something that me and you had discussed at Amazon,
Okay.
and it's that African kind of versus African American. And I remember we brought up this topic because we was talking about like a specific artist. I forgot what song it was, but you were saying like I can't necessarily like resonate with what he's talking about because it's like I can't really relate to the issues.
We're talking about Kendrick Lamar.
I think that's what it was too, because we always go about like Kendrick Drake.
Yeah,
Kendrick Drake.
we were talking about Kendrick Lamar. I remember that.
Yeah,
It was like I said that I think Kendrick is a dope rapper, but a lot of his songs I cannot relate to.
Yeah.
Because I cannot relate to all the American struggles as an African American.
Yeah.
I can hear it, and like I think the longer I've stayed here, I still can't relate to everything, but I can empathize.
Yeah.
I think I empathize more now.
So you can kind of like see like a little bit of like that line of separation. You're just like, oh, I kind of see what they talking about, Like,
yeah. I think there's still a divide though. I think there is like a huge divide. I think a lot of misunderstanding and not a lot of talking, and everybody has their perceptions of each communities, I think.
Well, let me ask you, like stemming from that, what was like your upbringing? Like, where are you from again? I remember you told me.
Liberia.
Like, so coming up and like growing up in Liberia, like, what was it like for you? Like your personal experience, you know what I mean? Like just from like going up there, going to school, finding employment there or whatever the situation.
Well, it was pretty normal. It was, you see, the truth. My childhood, it's hard to compare because I didn't grow up here. So I don't know. I can't compare my childhood to yours.
Yeah, so
in a sense, but I can say it's like growing up in the hood or the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
If you grew up around, what's his name said this? The comedian, Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
He said, when you grow up around all poor people,
you
don't know you're poor.
True.
But when you're poor around, if you're poor around rich people, you know you're poor. So growing up in a war-torn country, but it's pretty normal to you. So these things don't, when you get away from those situations and then look back at it, you see certain things and be like, oh, that was kind of, But at that time, it was normal. It wasn't like, because that's all I knew. So it's a difficult questions, because I think I had a very decent childhood.
As like when you like put it in the contrast.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one thing they say, we kind of like spoiled here in America, like in a sense. So like, like growing up, I won't even say like, like my upbringing is like real rough, but like, I know my parents, they really like talked about like issues of race, you know what I mean? And it was just like, it kind of was like that fine line of separation, like, this is kind of like how you viewed, and we seen that like within like the justice system, or whether with like the wealth gap and things like that. We kind of seen these things with like facts and statistics behind it, and it's just like, well, there's so much data behind it to prove it. It's just like you kind of do see that. So it's just like, I don't know. It's like, so we like when you say you don't deal with like the same struggles, it was like things like that like we dealt with, and it was like to a point where like one of the struggles that we often say is like basically working harder to achieve like the same goal for somebody who didn't put as much effort in, just based off like the color of your skin. You know what I mean? And it's just like, when it boils down to that, like you start seeing those disparities, and it's just like, that's what we talk about when we say institutional racism, because it's not to say like, hey, I don't like you because of your skin color. It's just like, I can devoid you of opportunities based off your skin color.
Well, yeah, I get that, especially now, but from how I grew up, that wasn't a question, because when everybody's black. Race is not really like the color of your skin really doesn't matter. That's why I think that's where the major issue comes from between Africans and African Americans. And I don't want to speak for an entire continent because I don't think it's fair. And all Africans are not dark skinned.
Yeah.
So, but the difference is here, blackness is a unifier. It's not only a race, it's a ethnicity, is everything.
Yeah, it's like music, food, culture.
Yes, but where I'm from, you black, nobody cares. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, because we have tribes, we have ethnic groups, we have religion, we have different other things that separate us. So like being black doesn't mean anything. It doesn't carry that much weight for me, like people here. So when you come here and somebody say, hey, we're black, we're my brother, you're like, what? Because you don't get it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you hate other black people where you're from, but you just don't see them like that, you know?
You're right.
Because if you in a country that everybody has the same color of your skin, the way human beings, we still find a way to divide.
Yeah.
Because I'm from a country we fought tribal war and religious war. So, which means, like, I didn't like you because of your tribe.
Yeah.
Not because of the color of your skin. Because I'm Vi, which is my tribe, and somebody else is another tribe, but I just don't like him. So I think human beings as a whole, we find a way to break apart.
Yeah.
So if I was in this other country and somebody with the same skin tone wasn't my brother, I'm not gonna come to another one and you tell me somebody that we don't have anything in common.
Yeah.
Technically, and you tell me, hey, I'm your brother now. Like, it's kind of hard to digest and accept. So I think that's the problem, because I think sometimes African Americans feel like Africans think that they're better, or they think that they're whatever it is. There's a lot of misconception about it. And I feel like there is not a lot of conversations being had, and people don't talk about why this person don't see you like the way you see. You think they should.
You're right. And like you said, here is like black is like a national unifier. It's just like all across the country black. But like you said, when you go to Africa, it's just like it's not I'm just African. Like, you know, African.
I don't tell people I'm African. When people ask me where I'm from, I say I'm from Liberia.
And specifically your tribe, Vi.
Yes.
You know, so.
No, but usually when somebody asks me where I'm from Liberia. And when I'm home, when people walk up to you, they don't ask you what color, they ask you what's your tribe.
Yeah.
That's how you identify. You identify by your tribe. So that's my identity. So that's why sometimes the conversation about unity and the African American versus African or whatever, sometimes it feels like I'm okay with the collective thing, like everybody coming together, and when cops pull me over, they don't see African on me
or Liberian.
Yeah, they don't see Liberia, they don't see Vi, they see a black man.
Yeah.
So I understand the togetherness, because as you're here, you still go through the same discrimination and the same racism and everything that an African American go through. So, but within that, when you tell me I should just strip myself of everything that makes me who I am and just be black, that becomes a problem, especially for me, because
now you're taking my identity.
Yes, because there's a lot of things that goes into me being me. You know, it's like I have forefathers, I have tribes, and they have history. It's just not a title you just put on and then you can just strip off.
You're right about that. You're right. He said, you got one of your fans in there. That's my brother. What's his name? Zoban?
Yeah, that's my brother.
But and I think that connection that we try to make is just it's just like when you look at African Americans and you talk about like the history of America, like it's extended to like slavery. So it's just like we don't always want to just be reverted back to American slavery. So we take that and we say like, okay, it has to be something bigger than that. You know what I mean? Like than just starting off like, okay, y'all came here, y'all were slaves, and y'all built up. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and it's one thing. It's like throughout the years, you don't want to be like constantly reminded, like, oh yeah, this is where your people was. You know. So we take it back further, like, okay, so well, where did we originate? You know, where did like because like even in the time span of like a slavery, like 400, 500 years ago, whatever, like whatever. He was like, don't pin me on that. But like in that aspect, and I tell people like always, I'm just like, you know, as far as just like making that distinction, I'm like, you really just gotta like learn to appreciate like the culture that, you know, we've developed here, you know, as far as arts, music, culture, and everything, and don't necessarily like take that away as far as like your African American is, you know, in a sense.
No, yeah, but like as I said, the more I stayed here, the more I get to it. I appreciate the foundation that African Americans have laid down for us immigrants, and a lot of not just not just Africans, but immigrants from all over the world or whatever. Like you see African Americans on the forefront for the border thing, and honestly, it doesn't affect them anyway. Like the whole Mexican border crisis, doesn't really technically doesn't really affect African Americans, but who's in the forefront of that? African Americans. So I think they do lay the foundations for everybody, and they deserved. You guys deserve a lot of credit and respect for that. And my being here is the reason I'm not didn't get on the plane and got down and then maybe got taken to like a cotton plantation or whatever. It's because of you guys. The reason maybe I'm not when I get pulled over, somebody it's not taking me to jail the next day is because of you guys. So you do have to acknowledge, you know, the groundwork that people has set for you. But but I cannot. It's different from seeing things than living through things.
You're right.
So even if I have a child here, due to the fact that will not be raised in an African American household, they may be Americanized or whatever. They may be considered African American or whatever, but it still will not have that true African American understanding because they have somebody with a different influence that's gonna influence them another way.
You're right about that.
So I can only empathize with what African Americans have been through. So
I understand that. So I remember somebody was telling me I think he was from Ghana or something. He was just like, yeah, I came over to America, and he's like, all my family think I got money now. It's just like, oh, you came to America, you're a big shot now. It's just like he's like, I didn't know my brother quite my quiet brother can talk. I'm watching. Yo, your brother talks. We was going at it at Amazon over mostly over music.
No, I think what'd you just say?
He was saying that when he comes over to America, like now that he talks to his family back there, they all think he has like money and stuff like that now.
Well, I'm not from Ghana, so I can't really speak to the what goes on in Ghana. But I think a lot of us come here from families that don't really have it. So you come here as like you sometimes like we come from terrible government who's not doing anything to help provide for the people in the country. There's no jobs. It's not like people just don't want to work. There's no work. You know,
like it's literally like no, it's not like here where it's just jobs that people don't want.
Yes,
it's like
there's no jobs. You know, so when one person makes it, it's like you gotta, that responsibility pretty much falls on now because you're in charge and you're the one who's like, at least you have a 9 to 5 to
to
go
provide.
to provide. Yeah, at least you can, But yeah, so I think that's just the situation about it. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's, when you come from a situation that people don't have it, that's what breeds stuff like that. It's not like they have it or they have the opportunities and they just don't want to do anything about it. Just don't want to work and just want to rely on their brother or sister that lives in America. That's not no.
And I mean, we had that like situation here too. Not specifically us, but like you see like a lot of athletes like and stuff like that. They run through their money like like trying to take care of like a lot of their family members. Like I've seen, like they'll buy like these big mansions and everybody get a house, everybody get a car and stuff like that. And it's we can relate to that issue too, but it's just like you said, it's poor people.
Yeah, it's the same way. Like you become the only successful person in your family, become a rapper, you got millions now, but the rest of your family didn't make it. So you still, that's why it's easier for a white person to acquire wealth, because usually they're not from a struggling family. Yeah. So your families may not be rich, but they wasn't poor.
Yeah.
So maybe just buy your dad a nice car and that's it.
Yeah.
Because he's good anyway. His 401k is already his retirement is already,
Yeah, set for.
Yeah, so you don't have to. That's not a problem. Maybe he just need a new truck, and that's it. But when you're from a African family or African American family, then that becomes another struggle. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I can't,
So like over here, like you said, like we have like a lot of like celebrities and businessmen that really like are like high profile. Like over in Liberia, what would be considered like high profile?
Oh, we don't do that.
No,
that's an African. I think I have a theory. I don't know how true it is. I may be wrong, right? But I have a theory.
I want to hear
this. You know how Americans came from or funded by the British, or whatever, and British have the queen, like and
queens,
they look up to people of that stature or whatever. I think it kind of fall a little bit like in America,
like a trickle effect.
Yes, people, they have E television and what's the other one that chased the people around, the TMZ and stuff like that. People look up to celebrities, and celebrities are this and celebrities are that. I'm not saying it's not like that. We don't have celebrities or people who, but we don't
idolize them in that sense.
Yes, we don't give a fuck like that. Like I'm not looking at what Kanye West does to set the trend for what my child do. If my child want to play.
Somebody was sharing the video on my bad.
If my child want to play music, he can look up to Kanye, but he's not everything about Kanye West would trickle down into, everything. So I think mostly it's like it's an American thing.
Like a trickle down from, like you said, from coming down from.
And I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying that it's a fact. No, I said it's a theory.
Yeah,
I think.
You good.
So I think it's a theory. I think people look up to these people like in these high regards. Like we look up to celebrities too, but like
not to an extent like here where it's just like sometimes.
Yeah, but we'll still call you stupid. And praise you and call you stupid both at the same time. So it's not like if you fuck up, it's not like, oh, you're setting our entire country back. No, you just like.
And that's the thing. It's just like kind of like with like the stereotype that goes on, like, and this is part of like that line of separation. Like you said, because where you from, it's like it's just all black. It's like the actions of one doesn't account for the many. You know what I
No.
mean? So it's like when, let's say, like a black guy or somebody like shoots something, they criminalize everybody. You know what I mean? It was just like, well, see, this is why we don't give them guns, or this is why we don't do that, or you know what I mean? But like in a situation like that, if one person messes up, it doesn't, fuck it up for everybody else. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, it's that person. You know what I mean? And there's no stereotype behind it or any kind of bias to say like, well, this is what we've been talking about.
Oh, we have stereotypes, but it's about tribes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we got stereotypes, but it's about tribes. Yeah. It's not about the entire. If like I don't want to do this because like yeah,
like, I don't want nobody mad at me.
Yeah, because if a certain tribe does something, people be like, I know why he does it because it's from
Yeah.
So it's not but here is put on an entire race.
I got you.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. It's a weird dynamic.
Well, let me ask you this. So, when did you first come over here to America?
I can't remember.
You can't remember? Well, how old were you?
No, I was. How old was I? I was like, am I going on 6 years now?
6 years. Where did you first touch down?
Philly.
Philly. I don't know why I was thinking Maryland for some reason. I don't know. It might have been somebody else.
I go to Maryland.
But so what was like your first experience like staying here for like your first year in America? Like,
what's my experience?
Yeah, like like your idea of what you was coming to.
When you got here. All right, before I got here, no.
I remember because I was asking this because I seen Trevor Noah. He was just like, in the brochures, like these people are always smiling faces.
I think no, I think my expectations were a little lower because I have friends and family who went to school and went back. So
it was like, it's not all cracked up.
Yes. But when I was a teenager and I used to fantasize about coming to America and about how I was going to be chilling with Chris Brown and maybe like I'll be in Miami with Rick Ross and we'll be, hanging out. Yes. I was thinking I had the perception that, these people are just, like 2 blocks away. Because Liberia is very small. And I'm like, like if I'm going to LA, me and D will be chilling. Yeah.
I live here and I don't know. I ain't never seen that.
Yeah.
I seen like a handful of famous people. Since
I've
been here for 28 years. But.
So you have you had this but then when people started coming, because I didn't really know a lot of people. I knew a few people who lived here, but the communications wasn't like that. But people I was close to when they started going and coming, and then I started getting more information about America, and then they started telling me that it wasn't as cracked up as I thought.
They're like, don't get your hopes up, man.
Yeah. So it kind of, but it was still. When I landed on Philadelphia at the airport, and the first thing was a pothole. Boom!
That gotta be the worst thing.
I was like, shit. No, I was expecting. I thought there was no potholes in America. First of all, let's get shit straight. I thought there was no potholes.
At all places.
I thought it never gets dark. Not because the cloud never gets dark, but the place is so bright with lights and stuff that you never experience darkness. That's what I thought.
You see it sound out of the storybook.
No, I'm being serious. No, listen. I thought that, when I was younger, I thought like it was just all bright, like you can't. There's no dark. Like it's just glitz and glamour, and I like because when people, you find out about America through rap videos and stuff. I had my older cousin here. When I was way younger, he used to record music videos for me and send it on cassette tapes. So we used to go to places and put it in, not DVD, I mean videotape. So we used to watch music videos, and we see all the glitz and the glam, and we see Fiesta.
So this is what it's like.
Yes. So you understand where to get all the hype, about your expectations goes up, but as you get older and it kind of calms down a little bit.
And I mean, it's the opposite here. Like when the only little bit of Africa we get is those like damn adoption commercials. You know what I mean?
You see,
like,
but
is that all that's there?
Yeah, you see those. They always show the terrible stuff. Like you see like a Save the Children commercial with the fly on the kid eye or on the kid mouth, like, and then all you see like. And then people, up to now, people still ask you about lions and tigers and shit. I've never seen any of those things, okay? I'm sorry. But South Africa has given people the wrong perception about what, first of all, it's a continent, it's not a country.
Yeah.
The West Africa, I shouldn't speak for everywhere in West Africa, but for the neighboring countries around me, we don't have lions and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those. I haven't even been to the zoo. I need to go check. I haven't seen a lion before.
Yeah, like the first time I seen a lion, I came here.
No, but I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen a giraffe ever in my life. The only animals that we got, like, deers and stuff? Like, pretty much the same stuff here. So, it's, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, I was talking to like some of the guys from like Ghana and Nigeria and stuff. He was just like, look, he was like, I used to party back home. Like, I don't know what they show.
Yeah,
like,
people,
like,
they be.
It's a party. Like,
I think when I don't know what's happening back home because I haven't been home in a while, but like the club in Liberia, when I was there, the two clubs that popular clubs I was there, was better than any club I've been to in here.
Yeah.
Yes, like the infrastructure and the dance floor and everything was way better.
Makes sense.
And you can't blame me too. I go to a lot of African clubs here too. But a lot of the clubs and people have this notion that people are just suffering and dying. It's not
all that, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the reverse. It's not all the party here, and it's not all.
Yeah, so it's not like that. Like, I think, I don't know, man. It's just we just need to talk to each other and understand. I think people don't. In this country, Americans are one of the least traveled Western countries. Yeah, you may see on Instagram, you see people go to Puerto Rico and Jamaica and stuff, but it's recent.
Yeah.
It hasn't, like, in Liberia, if you see a white person or if you see any foreigner, they're usually from somewhere else in Europe. You don't see them. They're not from America. If you see an American, maybe they probably came for work with the American embassy. But you don't see Americans like, hey, you know what? I'm going for vacation.
To visit, yeah.
It's a new trend that just started happening. But one of the reasons, too, the Europeans got used to that too, because they have, this old Brexit thing trying to fuck everything up. But before, it's just a train ride to like another country. So a lot of people.
And I mean, that's another point. Like, I remember you was telling me when you went back, like that ticket you showed me the price of that ticket. I was like, I'm like, that's an all-inclusive somewhere.
Yeah. So, but in Europe, it's like a train ride away to another country. So you get a whole nother experience. So it's different. So they got some people who have never left Jersey or never left Philly.
Never left Trenton.
Yeah.
This 7 square mile.
Yeah, they don't know anything. They only know about what they see on TV. That's why I don't get angry anymore. Like when people say ignorant stuff.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah, but you will be surprised. Like at this time, you would think that people is well educated, but no, they're not. Think that. Well, if you're here, it means you were one of those kids on the TV that had like the fly.
You came here on a refugee boat.
Yeah, or you got on a boat. I don't know.
It's crazy.
So people have like their own.
And I would say instead of having like that whole experience, like, oh, we need to get back to the motherland. Like, no, you need to go there and visit and see what it's actually like. You know what I mean?
When people say that, what do they mean?
like I said, with the motherland, like where your ancestors are from.
Where's your ancestors from?
And that's the thing. Like I would have to do like some DNA test, like because my family's from Trenton, New York. You know? And they came from down south, and then they came from. You know,
Wait, because all right, here's another. I don't know if it's a. All right, I can't really up to now, right? I've been here for a while now, but I still can't tell. I still don't. It's complicated. I don't know the difference between a mixed person from a Latino person and maybe somebody who just light skinned. It's confusing.
Yeah, I mean, they thought I was Dominican at the job for.
No, I think no, but you look up Bino.
They forgot about Bino. Talking that bullshit. He was like, "No, bro. There's more white Americans that travel to Liberia than African Americans." I mean, yeah. Well, again, that goes back like to the whole money thing. You know what I mean? Like they got the money to be traveling like to.
No, but I wasn't talking about African American in specific. I was talking about Americans. I think that more Europeans travel a lot more than Americans. It wasn't an African American statement. It was an American statement.
Yeah, so.
And I think like the white people, as I said, most of the white people that goes to Liberia goes for work. They go with the American embassy.
Yeah, so I mean, I gotta make one of those countries over there like a destination.
I don't know. It's up to you. Like I'm not one of those people who trying to bring people back home.
No, I mean I just want to travel.
I don't.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to get out and see the world and stuff like that. So
that's fine.
I
think it's cool. I want to do too. I want to see the world too. I think cultures is amazing. I like to see how people live and how people like. It's shocking. Like sometimes you just cross. Like when you come from Philly to Jersey, it's a whole nother people.
Yeah.
Like people don't even know. Like if you go all the way to like South and you go to Alabama or even Atlanta, Florida. It's different people, different way of living and stuff.
Yeah, like the whole like you said, even just between states, like the whole culture is just different.
So yeah, then imagine moving, going to where is it? Like Puerto Rico, or going to Mexico, or going to Belgium. So I think there's so much to this world that we're so comfortable in our bubble and we generalize shit and we talk about,
Yeah, Africans, Americans.
Yeah, I don't like that African thing. I'm Liberian. I don't know. Listen, I've never been to any other African country but Liberia. I am a proud Liberian man. I'm not a proud African. I'm a proud Liberian. That's all I know. I don't know how to be an African. I know how to be a Liberian.
I got you. That makes sense.
So it may come out wrong to some people.
But that's what you identify with.
Yeah, I understand it. I understand being,
Why?
No, but when people want the generalizing the African thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people would generalize to a degree, and then when it comes to like like countries like Egypt and Morocco, and then they put asterisks towards because they're not dark skinned.
Yeah.
So my thing is, so you think this entire continent have only black people, like dark skinned people, even like. I don't know. So it's like
Johannesburg.
No, they're mixed now with like South Africans or like, they got white South Africans. But that's the craziest term.
That's the craziest term to me.
What?
Like when they was like, I'm from South Africa and they like Dutch.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like I seen a pageant, it was like Miss South Africa or whatever, and it was like.
I think South Africa is an interesting place though, because I think. Like they have, like for what they've been through, they're amazing people. Like the few South Africans I've met in my life, they're great people, and they got good singers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sent you a South African song one time with the beat. I said the beat was amazing. Listen, first of all, that's another conversation for another day. But I think you be tripping.
What? Was it that Drake and Wizkid one?
It wasn't a Drake. How would I send you Drake and Wizkid? No, I sent you a beat, and I told you, listen, I know you can't understand shit this person is saying, but I think the beat is amazing, and you should check it out. And you went on your, we're in public now, so we can't discuss it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what he's talking about for the record. I gotta listen to this beat, to this song that he's talking about. I gotta go into the archive.
But I think like I think when it comes to, first of all, our beats are more complex than American beats. American beats are just boom bop boom bop.
I mean, especially nowadays, you hear the
when you hear Afrobeat, you hear all kinds of stuff. Our producers are, maybe they may not have the technology or all these things, but I think we're better than American producers.
All right, here you go.
I think an African or Nigerian producers or any will shit on whatever.
I'm gonna let him go on his
No, I think a lot of these guys will kill what's the kid? Any of them? Murder? Yes, whatever. Name them.
I don't believe that. But I mean, definitely. I mean, like in pop culture, like I definitely have seen like as far as like the mainstream, and I think that is partly attributed like to the internet. I mean, because like prior to that, like I couldn't tell you like.
Where do you think Beyonce be getting her vibes from?
I mean, and that's the thing. Like you'll see. Like I listen to like this one band selection. Hold on, me being in this country for a long time, the white people find it more interesting to know about Africa than their own African American people. Now, that's deep. That's deep. But yeah, like you know, they'll have like a lot of African inspired, and like I'll hear like new artists that I never heard, like what's his name, Masego or something like that. I think he's from South Africa.
Oh, have you heard Nasty C?
No.
Let's check him out.
All right.
Again, he was shit on a lot of these.
We'll check out. But for right now, guys, that's what we're going to end the debate. This was a good episode. I like this one for a first episode. So if you guys want to run this back, you can go to the YouTube channel, Hello Yatta, and you know we'll be back again with another topic. I think we'll have like another interesting one, man. It was good having you. Going and all in.